Hello and happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us here on ABC 24 Weather Impact Now. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Burchett alongside meteorologist Kit Thomas and meteorologist Daniel McDonald. It is the 30-minute show that is all about the local forecast, where we break down not only what's going to happen, but when it's going to happen and why it's happening. We always like to give you a little science behind what is going on and, of course, give you a more in-depth look at the forecast and even a few cool things that we've seen around the Mid-South and around the country. Let's get right to it. Got a lot to talk about in today's show. Want to start out with your local briefing. We do have to talk about some changes coming up starting tomorrow. We have a cold front that's going to be coming in. That's going to do a couple of things. Could bring us a slight rain chance. It's also going to drop our temperature quite substantially through the day tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be one of those days where we start out in the 70s and then we wind up in the 50s as we get to go home from work. So a big change from the morning commute to the evening commute. Thankfully, this is going to clear out pretty quickly. So we're left with a pretty sunny weekend, but it is going to be cooler once that front clears on out of here. Outside right now, tons of sunshine. Hardly a cloud in the sky. It's been beautiful today. It's been a little breezy and it's certainly been warm. We got very close to a record high today. We made it up to 83. The record was 86. Right now we're at 81. Look at your wind though. That's going to be out of the southwest, anywhere from 15 to 16 miles an hour. So that's what's been kind of bringing in that warm air. Also has led to a bigger fire concern. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. Tonight though, weather is overall pretty quiet. We are clear. We are dry. Still warm though. Temperatures will hang out in the 70s through the evening, 74 at 10 o'clock, and then eventually overnight we drop to the 60s. So temperatures will be much above average for the overnight lows. We're usually in the 40s for those overnight low temperatures. We'll drop to the 60s tonight, 63 in Memphis. Still a little breezy even into the overnight hours, but I do not expect any cloud cover or any rain chances. That is going to change tomorrow though. I think we maybe start off with a little sunshine for the morning commute. Things look good, but clouds will build in through the day, and then that cold front gets to us. So look at the temperature. We get to the 70s right around lunchtime, and then temperatures drop through the day. So a big time drop. You might need two outfits, one for the morning, one for the evening. We end up in the 50s by the evening, and then once the front passes, your winds start to come out of the north. Could be a little breezy tomorrow. That's going to bring in some cooler air. Could also bring in a little bit of rainfall. Overall, rain chances are still pretty low, but I do think tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, there could be a couple of showers that find their way down to the surface. So while I don't think it's enough to completely ruin your Friday evening, you might just want to be aware that an isolated shower not completely out of the question. Here's what we're tracking hour by hour. This is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We're looking good there. I think we're mostly dry, mostly clear. But as we go through the day, we start to see some sprinkles develop. Now, we have a little bit of dry air at the surface. So a lot of what you might see on the radar might be evaporating before it makes it completely down to the surface. So even though we might have some rain up in the atmosphere, a lot of that could evaporate at first. So I think we're mostly dry through at least lunchtime. But then as that front really starts to kick through 5 or 6 p.m., that's when we could see a little bit more in the way of rainfall developing. So if you do have evening plans or overnight plans tomorrow, might want to have the umbrella with you. A couple of isolated showers possible, and then turning much cooler as we look ahead to tomorrow evening and especially by tomorrow night. So yes, a few isolated showers possible. Adding it up, maybe a couple of drops of rain in the bucket here or there. Certainly not enough to really help us out of this drought or to help the ground get saturated, which is exactly what we need. We'll talk about that in a second, but we do get cooler again by Friday evening and Friday night, certainly by the weekend as well. Look at your temperatures tomorrow, and I don't want this to catch you off guard. So a heads up for you if you've got plans tomorrow, if you're going to work. We'll start off in the 60s and 70s, and then we drop through the day. 55 at 6 p.m., 51 at 8 o'clock. So it is going to be much cooler in the evening than it will be tomorrow morning. We'll keep the cool weather around this weekend. 64 on Saturday. Keep in mind, last weekend we were hitting record high temperatures. This weekend, a little closer to the average for this time of year. 64 with sunshine on Saturday, 76 and sunny on Sunday. No rain chance this weekend. It is going to be very, very nice. Lows in the 40s Saturday night, but overall temperatures will climb again by Sunday. So if you've got any plans for the weekend, things look fantastic. There is something else I want to let you know about. Even though it is sunny this weekend, we actually do have an elevated fire danger. So what's happened is we're going to have this cold front that comes through. It's going to bring in a northerly wind, which also pulls some drier air in. So look at our humidity. Tomorrow morning, humidity 70 to 80%. There's going to be a bit of moisture in the air. When we have a southerly wind, tend to get some moisture off the Gulf, and that increases our dew point, increases our humidity a little bit. When our wind direction changes and that front starts to come in and we get a drier air mass that moves in, watch what happens to our humidity. It drops. We get a humidity Saturday 19 to 20%. And with the air being that dry and with the drought that we're in, even though we are seeing a little rain, the ground overall is still very dry. So this is a recipe for fires to start and also to burn out of control. Just in the last hour, we've had news into the newsroom of at least one grass fire and then another fire that involved, unfortunately, it looked like a home there in the Southwind area. So not clear if that started because of the weather, but especially those grass fires, they can tend to start and get out of control very quickly in the type of weather that we're seeing today and then into the weekend. So humidity going to be very low this weekend. Many counties are under burn bans, much of eastern Arkansas, and then also Marshall, Benton, and Alcorn County in North Mississippi. It is illegal to burn there because of how dry it is and how quickly those fires can get out of control. So for the next few days, even though we do have a little rain in the forecast, the ground is overall going to be dry. Avoid any outdoor burning, especially if you are in one of those areas that is under a burn ban. It's actually illegal. You cannot do any outdoor burning. But even if you're not in a burn ban, be aware those fires can get going and get out of control very quickly. I heard from a friend earlier, they had a fire going and they almost had to call the fire department because of how quickly it started getting out of control. Don't toss your cigarettes. You shouldn't do that on a normal day, but especially not today or this weekend when things can get out of control quickly. Also avoid parking in dry grass because even the exhaust can kind of kick up a fire with the heat that's coming out of the back end of your car. Another thing, anything that can make a spark, if you have a chain dragging on a trailer, anything that can get a spark going on the interstate can cause a fire. That's why we have grass fires a lot of times along the interstate this time of year. So take it easy with the burning. Even with the rain coming in, we are going to be kind of in a recipe for fires to burn and get out of control this weekend. So we talked about the showers on Friday. I think the weekend is dry. Look at next week. Those rain chances slowly increase. I think we're going to be kind of flipping a switch here as we start off the month of April, which is Wednesday, into a much more spring-like weather pattern where we get those storm systems that come in and we get an increase in rain chances as we look ahead to April. Precipitation outlook nails that from the Climate Prediction Center. Definitely looking wetter than average for the first couple of days of April. So enjoy the rest of March. Overall, pretty quiet. I know we've got a little rain tomorrow, but in general, we're quiet and mostly dry. April 1st, we're going to flip that switch and we're going to go back into that rainy pattern. Hard to say if that involves any severe weather chances. You don't usually see that until a few days away. We do know we're getting into more of a rainy weather pattern though, and it is the time of year we have to watch for severe thunderstorms. So all eyes going to be on the first couple of weeks of April, and you can stay updated as well with the latest extended weather updates. Also, our live radar is streaming 24/7. Scan that QR code there. That will take you to the ABC 24 Plus app for your phone or for your TV. If you have a smart TV like a Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Samsung, even if you don't have cable or satellite, you can stream us there. You can stream the radar there 24/7 as well. So as the rain starts to come in, you can see where it is and if it's going to impact your plans. Again, a big change tomorrow. We'll wake up in the 70s, but we'll wind up in the 50s tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. So a little bit of a sticker shock there with cooler air moving in. Slight chance of a shower tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening as some cooler northerly air comes in. Sunshine Saturday, high of 64. Fire risk, though, because of how low the humidity is. Fires could burn out of control this weekend quickly, so avoid burning. 76 and sunny on Sunday, and then we do warm up a bit more, closer to the 80s by next week. Mostly dry Monday, Tuesday, couple of showers Wednesday, and then I think a better chance of some rain as we look ahead to next Thursday and Friday. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. And as always, we want you to be a part of ABC 24 Weather Impact Now as well. We want you to join the ABC 24 Weather Watchers. You can go on Facebook. You can go over to Facebook and you can There we go. You can go over to Facebook and you can search up ABC 24 Weather Watchers. Scan that QR code there on your screen. That'll take you to the Facebook group as well. You can submit your weather photos, your weather videos, your reports there. You might see them right here on ABC 24. Much more for you coming up on Weather Impact now, including an update on the drought situation and a check of your regional forecast. Don't go away.